Am I really cursing my boyfriend by making this sweater? Are there any other weird knitting superstitions? I don't know, but today we're going to talk about the most popular knitting and crochet superstitions. This week is a little bit of a different video where I'm just kind of sitting down chatting as I knit the sweater. So if you have a project that you need to work on, go ahead, grab it, get something to drink. I have my water, and let's get knitting. As for my project, today I am knitting the Key Sweater Man by Petite Knit. This is one of her newer patterns. I don't know if it's her most recent one, but it came out within the last year. Also, if you're knitting or crocheting or whatever craft you're doing with me today, I would love to know what you're making and what pattern you're using. Honestly, this just gives me an excuse to look through patterns that I could make next. Yeah, let me know in the comments. I'm using these two gorgeous colors from Drops. It's the Drops Lima mix, these two right here. This lighter color is in Wheat, and then I have this beautiful bluish green color in Petrol. And I actually used the same color for a different sweater that I made for myself, but this sweater is not for me. This sweater is actually for my boyfriend. I'm making it for him as an anniversary gift. And I want to talk about that because a lot of people talk about the sweater curse. Now, I don't know how many people actually fully believe in it, but clearly I'll have to tread carefully with this because this is a gift that I'm making my boyfriend. If you don't know what the sweater curse is, it's a superstition which says by making a sweater for your significant other, you're going to break up. You know, I've heard people make other things too, like hats, mittens, socks, even lower stake items compared to a sweater in terms of how much time it actually takes to make it. But even with those, people have said that they've broken up with their significant other after gifting it. Obviously, as knitters or crocheters, or really any craft for that matter, we put a lot of time and love and care into these projects that we're making. And so it really sucks when the person you give it to doesn't appreciate it. I think that's one part of the sweater curse. To be fair, I have made my boyfriend a different sweater in the past. I actually made him a different Petite Knit pattern. I believe it was the zipper sweater, but the light version, so it used fingering weight yarn. As a crafter, I love that there are superstitions like this because it just makes our community feel so much fuller. So like I said, I'm gifting this to my boyfriend, and in some people's eyes, I'm cursing him. Which, in my own opinion, and this doesn't only apply to significant others, I really only knit things for people that I know will appreciate it. I think people really forget how long it takes to knit something, to make something from your hands. I think people assume that it's a lot like sewing because, you know, with sewing, there are ways to make it a lot faster. You have a sewing machine. A lot of people don't just hand make sewing projects with, you know, just a needle and thread. It is automated in some way to be faster. With knitting, obviously you can buy a knitting machine, but most, you know, hobby knitters I know are doing it by hand, doing it with needles. And that's how we find enjoyment through knitting. So I really only knit for a select number of people in my life, and that does include my boyfriend. I'm very fortunate that I have someone in my life that really appreciates the hobbies that I do, and he is such a champ and will go to yarn stores with me, even though obviously that's not his favorite thing in the world. But I think it's a sweet sentiment to know that he likes to go with me because he knows that I enjoy it. I just realized that I made a mistake and I was supposed to switch from this blue color to this white. So I just did a couple rounds here in the wrong color. So I'm gonna have to rip this out and go back and do that. But speaking of mistakes, another superstition I wanted to talk about was intentionally making a mistake in your knitting. Now, this isn't something that I really do, because I'm gonna be so honest, I already put so many mistakes in my projects that even an intentional one, it's not just like a, ooh, random fun quirk. No, I just messed up the project at that point. I think the reason why you want to add a mistake into your knitting is because by adding a mistake, spirits will not be trapped within your woven fabric. At least that's what my understanding of it is. I have heard some really cute stories though of people's grandmas purposely putting like 2 purl stitches together in a very hidden spot, whether that's in the underarms, on the shoulder, as a way to not trap the spirits within their sweaters. I think that's such a cool detail and one that you can point out to other people. It's just one of those things that you would never notice if you bought a machine-made sweater from like H&M or Target. I love that it adds a little personality to the sweater, and that's like your own little secret of an intentional mistake. Now, I don't really believe spirits will get trapped in my sweater. There's already too many mistakes. So I don't think putting an intentional one will matter. Okay, while searching up superstitions for this video, there was, I think, very similar to intentionally putting a mistake in your knitting. I've heard people talk about weaving a strand of their hair into their knitting. Now again, I don't have to intentionally do that. It usually just ends up happening. It's kind of a way to put a bit of yourself into the knitting. It is a little funny telling other people that though, if you're gifting them something. Like, oh yeah, there's just a strand of my hair in your sweater and it's never coming out. I've also heard that's a way to get rid of the sweater curse by putting a strand of your hair into the sweater that you're making your significant other. I don't know, maybe that's why nothing bad happened when I gave my boyfriend his first sweater. Let's just hope I just accidentally put enough hair into this sweater as well. When I was searching up superstitions for this video, I also found a lot of superstitions related to babies or like young children, which to be honest I wasn't expecting, but doesn't surprise me. I feel like given the human history of infant mortality, it makes sense that a lot of people would have superstitions when it comes to children. I think one of the superstitions I saw was not making any knitted clothing for your baby before they're born. This is a superstition that I actually haven't seen too many people talk about. I think most knitwear designers that I follow really jump on making sweaters and outfits for their children. And if I had a child, which I don't know if I want children, but if I had a child, I totally get it because making children's clothing is so fast compared to obviously making a sweater for myself or my boyfriend. I remember a year ago, I had a coworker who was pregnant, and as a surprise, I gifted her a baby sweater for her soon-to-be son. I'll see if I have any pictures of the sweater. I know she sent me a picture of him wearing it, but for the sake of her privacy and obviously her son's privacy, I won't be sharing the photo. But I must say the baby is happy and healthy, so I don't think there's anything I have to worry about with the sweater now. Plus, I don't even think the baby can fit in the sweater anymore if it's been a year. Now, if you do make clothing for babies before they're born, the other superstition that I saw was to never finish anything within multiples of 13. So whether it was a baby pattern or if you needed to bind off to 13 stitches, nope, do not use that pattern apparently. Obviously 13 is a very superstitious number. If you have to do it, either increase it by 1 row or 1 stitch to 14 or decrease it to 12. You don't want to put any bad luck into a sweater. Now I'm trying to think back on any of my projects that I've done, if I've ever ended anything in a multiple of 13. I probably have, knowing me. I feel like I've went against a lot of these superstitions before, and I feel like I'm just waiting for something bad to happen. I feel like someone is measuring my negative like knitting karma and something terrible is going to happen to me. But if something does happen, you guys know why. Actually, I think the true karma is that I messed up this row and have to go all the way back on this massive sweater. I have fully regressed in my project since starting this video. I have not made any progress. Anyways, I would love to know about your guys' knitting or crocheting superstitions. I'm so curious if you guys have any like anecdotal stories of something happening when you didn't follow the superstition. I feel like I need someone to warn me. I feel like I need to lock in on this project and concentrate and not just yap. If I don't, I'm gonna mess up this project again. And we can't have that. If you guys like knitting or crocheting content, feel free to subscribe to my channel. It's like our own virtual craft club. Or if you'd like to see what I'm doing outside of YouTube, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I won't lie, it's still a lot of knitting and crocheting, but there's some other things there too, like food. I only got 3 hobbies. And with that, I'll see you guys in my next video. Happy crafting!